Imagine you live in a place we'll call Zoo Town. You want to buy some goods imported from neighboring Jungle City, but the merchant won't accept your local zoo dollars. To make the purchase, you first have to trade them in for jungle pesos. This is a foreign exchange rate, the price of one currency measured in terms of another. But it's a moving target. Today, that rate shifted against you. You now give up much more local cash to get the exact same amount of foreign money. We usually think of money as the yardstick that determines the price of goods. So if money dictates the price of everything else, what invisible forces are dictating the price of the money itself? A currency is a commodity. Its value is determined entirely by the laws of supply and demand, pulled back and forth by a hierarchy of economic actors, ranging from single shoppers up to entire governments. This chart shows the relationship between the quantity of a currency and its price on the open market. When citizens of a country import goods, they have to sell their local currency to buy the foreign money required for the purchase. This floods the global market with their local cash, shifting the supply curve to the right and driving the value of their currency down. The exact opposite happens with exports. When a country sells its products abroad, foreign buyers have to purchase the exporting country's currency to pay the bill. That creates demand, which pulls the value of that local currency up. Trade isn't the only way individual people move the needle. There is also a concept known as secondary income, which covers money sent across international borders without any goods or services being exchanged in return. The largest chunk of secondary income comes from workers' remittances. When migrant workers earn wages abroad and send that money back home to their families, they must buy their home country's currency to do it. This generates a massive, continuous wave of organic demand. The daily shopping habits of consumers and the geographic borders crossed by the working class create the foundational baseline for what any given currency is actually worth on the global stage. Scaling up from individuals, we hit foreign direct investment, or FDI. This is when a multinational corporation decides to cross borders to buy real estate, construct factories, or set up physical operations in another country. Inward FDI triggers a massive, immediate spike in currency demand. If a foreign automaker decides to build a manufacturing plant in a new country, they have to buy millions in that local currency to pay for the concrete, the steel, and the local workforce. But there is a delayed reaction here. Years later, when that factory turns a profit, the corporation will want to send that money back to its headquarters. This is called primary income or investment income. The company sells its localized profits to buy back its home currency, abruptly dumping the local currency back into the global market. Multinational corporate investments act as a double-edged sword. They inject an initial, enormous surge of demand into a country's currency, followed years later by a slow, methodical drain of its supply. There is a third faction in the free market: financial speculators. They do not care about importing cars or building infrastructure. They buy currency strictly to hold it as a financial asset, betting they can turn a profit on the shifting exchange rate itself. If traders look at a country and expect its economic prospects to improve in the near future, they will buy massive reserves of its money today while it's cheap, planning to sell it later when the price peaks. This creates a literal self-fulfilling prophecy. Because so many speculators are buying the currency simultaneously based on a belief that the price will rise, the sheer volume of their purchases creates the exact demand needed to drive the price up. Speculation detaches a currency from the physical reality of actual trade. It introduces a highly volatile, psychology-driven element to the market, where rumors and expectations move billions of dollars in seconds. That volatility has real consequences. When speculators cause a currency to wildly fluctuate, local businesses are left guessing. They can't accurately predict what it will cost to import raw materials tomorrow, or how much profit they'll actually make on the goods they export today. To prevent this chaos, governments and their central banks will step in, overriding the floating free market to create a managed exchange rate. The primary tool for this is the central bank's reserve of foreign currency. If their own money is losing too much value, the bank will spend its foreign reserves to buy up its own currency on the open market. This artificially soaks up the excess, reducing the supply and pushing the price back up. As a secondary measure, a central bank can raise national interest rates. Higher interest rates attract what economists call hot money flows, massive pools of foreign capital looking for the highest possible return on savings, which forces those investors to buy the local currency to deposit it in those banks. Keeping an economy stable requires governments to actively push back against the relentless, unpredictable currents of global free market forces. So, what dictates the price of money? It is a constant tug-of-war between trade, secondary income like remittances, foreign direct investment, primary income moving across borders, speculation, and central bank intervention. A dollar, a peso, or a euro is not a fixed unit of measure. It is a commodity with a constantly moving price tag, governed by the push and pull of global supply and demand. Ultimately, an exchange rate serves as the real-time scoreboard of a country, calculating the exact sum of every consumer purchase, corporate investment, and government decree happening within its borders.